Welcome to a Rising Tide podcast, where I interview experts in the real estate and related industries to make your experiences better. I'm your host, Zach Kidd with Future Home Realty. I work in Clearwater, Florida, and nearby areas like Dunedin. In case y'all are watching, like you're catching this like on the tail end, man, did we have problems with kickoff on this, because I was not nearly as prepared as I expected to be. Shirley actually called me. She's like, I'm on, where are you? And I'm like, I didn't know we were going on now. You know, some days things just don't go as planned, and that's okay. We're here to have a good time, right? My guest today is the awesome Shirley DeLoach. She's a lender.
The thing that is keeping borrowers from jumping into this market is the affordability. And if the sellers are dropping the prices, that's going to mean more buyers coming into the market, which is going to push the prices back up a little bit. And it's a good thing for sellers. Well, the thing is that high prices are just squeezing first-time homebuyers out in some of the southern states, is what they're saying here. And I know that that's happening in Florida. And the reason for Florida is that we are running out of space to put property. So because of that, that's pushing the price of houses up. I live in the city of St. Petersburg, and it is incredible the amount of growth that's happened over the last year. So with that in mind, because the house prices are higher, a first-time home buyer coming into this market, their income is not sufficient sometimes to purchase, to qualify for a mortgage loan. The good thing, though, is that in the city of St. Petersburg, if you're in the CRA area, you can get down payment assistance. And all you need to do is be 80% of the median income. So that means that there is hope for some first-time home buyers in this area. But if they go outside of the CRA area, they're back into the situation of having very high debt-to-income ratios and housing-to-income ratios. However, I've seen AUS be a little bit more generous. The rule used to be, according to some information that I've recently received, 30% of your gross income is what you use as a benchmark to decide whether or not you're going to be able to afford that house. But now they've actually raised that, especially out in California. It's almost 49%. But when you raise that, that means that your credit has got to be pretty excellent in order to have that high ratio. So I will tell you that with U.S. Mortgage, we help you with that, making sure that you get your credit to the place where you can afford to have a higher ratio. And if you're comfortable with that, then you can jump into this market. I'm here to tell you that as a first-time home buyer, you really should reach out to your mortgage originator, because there's a lot of things that can be done to help you get into that home the first time. And what I do is I encourage all first-time home buyers to take the first-time home buyers course, because a lot of people do not understand the difference, Zach, between me and you. Well, that's a funny thing, okay? Because you look at me, I'm totally different. I'm a woman, a Black woman at that, and you're not. So I'll just put it that way. We are completely different. And when you're a realtor and I'm a mortgage originator, I don't do showing houses. And that's you. And then I encourage realtors, please, when borrowers have questions, have them call me. Also, I do know this about realtors. And that is they are the ones that you need to rely on to make sure that you know what the heck that property is all about. Because in Florida, we have some things that go on that you need to be aware of. I don't know about other states, but here we have sinkholes. We have some areas that flood, very easily. You want to know that, and the realtor is the one who knows all that history and has all that information. I don't have it. I don't think it does. And that is sad because that is big, big issue. I have a client right now that they think we don't want any HOAs when we're out looking for properties because they think HOAs is deed restrictions. But I let them know I don't have an HOA in my community, but I have deed restrictions in my community. Yeah. So you have to know that you have to look at that title, have your attorney, look at it and tell you what it is in that community that is restricted by deeds. Or you stop and read it yourself. But it's best to have someone do a little bit of interpretation too. So again, we have to separate these people. There's lawyers, and there's mortgage originators, and there's realtors. All different. Right. And also, your job is to get that home that they really love, and all of the things that they are looking for in a home. Whereas you're familiar with the market, so you know where they need to look, and you know where to let them know where they should be looking in order to get what they need from a home. Everybody's dream is different as to what they think is the the greatest mansion there is out there. So we need that communication between the realtor and the borrower. And that's sometimes where I have an issue, is that my realtor is not communicating with that borrower, and the borrower is telling me, you keep showing me properties that I don't want. I want to be in an area where I have a gated community.
Right.
And then other people say, oh, don't even give me anything near a gated community.
It's true. And it's a big thing to understand. Like my very first client, he was very adamant, and I totally understood why. Mm-hmm. He didn't want anything to do with any kind of a managed community. And we wound up getting him almost exactly a full acre of property up in Pasco, and he still loves it. He's been there for 7 years now. Oh, wow. And it was a huge thing because he didn't want to have nosy neighbors. And hey, look, my wife says she can hear us both. Yay, finally, I sorted it. I think I figured out what the problem was, so everybody else should be good too. Okay. But yeah, he didn't want to deal with the neighbors saying, oh, you can't paint your house that color or whatever. But deed restrictions, and I like to be able to clarify this, deed restrictions say any homes built in this neighborhood have to be 3-bed, 2-bath made out of concrete block. Okay, cool. Homeowners associations put another level of governance on top of that says, and you can only paint your house, battleship gray. And then, in a homeowners association, you own the entire building, and it is entirely your responsibility. And there's another little exception there in a second I'll come back to. In condo associations, the association owns the shell of the building. You only own from the drywall in. And the big headache is trying to explain townhomes, which could be titled either way. Exactly. So if you're in a townhome, it might be deeded as a homeowners association, but the association takes care of the exterior maintenance up to a point, like routine roof replacements. All of that is that's what I get paid to go through and figure out. This is what you're getting yourself into. And I am a huge advocate of, if you're looking to buy a place or even sell one, but if you're looking to buy, you should not go in without knowing this information forwards and backwards. Exactly. it's not just going to be fine just because you showed up and went, fine, whatever the rules are their rules. I've got a great community that I know of, and if I remember correctly, it is not in the actual restrictions for the association. It's in the rules and regulations, which that's just something the board comes up with. But they said if your dog dies, that you can't replace your dog, and I'm like, that's horrible. No, and are you going to be okay with living in that kind of a scenario? And for me, I would rather somebody come up ahead of time and say, yes, I'm good with this scenario, but not that one or whatever. But it's important to know who to talk to. Same thing with flood zones, same thing with insurance. My wife popped in here, same thing goes with townhomes, that goes with villas. They may or may not be a condo or a townhome or whatever. Condo or an HOA. So these are important topics. And it also applies when it comes to the lending side. Single family homes and homeowners associations, that's much easier to lend on. Right? Condos or anything titled as a condo or organized as one, that I can tell you statistically that there are 10 times the number of VA approved condos for VA buyers than there are for FHA home buyers. I can't remember what the number was or the statistic was in St. Petersburg, but Pinellas County. Last I checked, Pinellas County had something like 30 that were approved for FHA. And for VA, it was like 350.
Oh, wow.
But I know now FHA can do spot approvals.
They can.
So, yeah, you want to talk a little bit more about that, or?
They can do spot approvals, but it's it's difficult.
Right? It's meant to be difficult.
They're going to make it a little difficult. But once you get that approved, you're good to go. But you have to go through a lot of steps to get that done.
Yeah.
You have to be patient.
And yes, being patient is huge, because this is not something where you pick up the phone and say, we need a spot approval on this and get it the same day. That does not happen.
Not happening.
And you can yell at us all you want to. It's still not going to happen. So, what good programs do you have going on right now for everything else out there?
Oh, we have a little bit of programs for everything. We have people, if they have a problem getting qualified, but they can show with their bank statements that they have a regular income pattern, we have bank statement loans. So we have for investors, what we call DSCR loans, which means that as long as the market rent that an appraiser, okays and gives is going to be more than the payment on that property, you can get approved. And it's not contingent upon your income.
Nice. That's a huge thing too, because for a lot of people, this is one that I continually preach, at least as much as I can, that just because it has a little bit of an investment flavor to it doesn't mean you have to qualify entirely upon your income. And one of my favorite examples is you can use all the normal loan types. I like to refer to VA because everybody sees it as being the most restrictive, but you can buy. Yeah, you can buy up to 4. There we go. Where's my camera? You can buy up to 4 units, a quadplex, using a VA loan, FHA, whatever, as long as you live in one unit, and then you rent out the other 3, and the income for those other 3 goes towards qualifying your income to purchase the rest of the property. That is a huge game changer. Like I wish somebody had screamed this at me when I was younger and in a position to take advantage of it.
That is a really good thing.
Yeah. So,
it really is.
And then we've got the.
And I don't want to be Debbie Downer, okay?
That's okay. You can.
But when you go into being a landlord.
Oh, that's a whole different beastie.
Right. So now, not only do you need the information on buying a home, but now you need to take the course on landlords, being a landlord.
Yes. Yes. It's huge.
And
Most
if you
people think you
don't,
just
you
show
will
up.
suffer.
Most people think you just show up. My wife said when you were talking about the DSCR loans, she's like, I need that loan for my New Orleans house. She wants a New Orleans house so bad.
All right. All right.
So I don't know if my audio carried over on that, but I'll just repeat myself if it didn't. My wife wants to buy a house in New Orleans, and she's like, I need to know more about that DSCR loan so we can buy an investment property there.
Okay.
So,
All right. It sounds like it's going to be interesting. New Orleans, I used to work there and a little bit, and kind of familiar with it. It's an interesting place.
it really
Lots
is.
of flavor.
Yeah. And it's funny because people are like, oh, it's low-lying area and this and that. I'm like, I'm from Florida, man. There's no difference, And she says she can get a duplex cheap. Yes, dear,
Okay.
I know.
Okay. All right.
Oh, jeez. So let's talk about some of the other things that you're into. You also deal with the other end of the spectrum, not just starting out, but when people hit that senior citizen level and,
Exactly.
and they want to downsize. So
we definitely have the HICM loans, which is where if you are senior citizen, age 62 and over, that you can turn your equity in your home that you've just about paid off because you had it all these years into either annuity income for yourself, or you just take the money out and put it in another investment so that you can have income from it, and you do not have to make a payment on the principal and interest, which is really fantastic. You only have to pay the taxes on and the hazard insurance on the property and keep that up.
that is absolutely huge.
Yeah. Now, the one thing about that, though, is they're not going to do that on 100% of the equity value. Okay. Right. And it's going to be more like, about, depending on your age, what percentage it's going to be. So one thing about it, the government has decided that if you do decide to take one of these loans out, you got to be completely educated as to what's going on. So there's no surprises. And if something happens to you and your heirs want to get that house back, they have a year to get that house back and do whatever they would like to do with it. So it's much better than it used to be. So a lot of people have a lot of reservations about it, but it's really highly, how can I say, they really regulate it closely, so that because they don't want us taking advantage of our senior citizens. So if you do get it, you will understand it completely before you sign the paperwork, before you actually do it. That, and they recommend that you have your closest heir with you when you're doing that, so that they know too, and that they're in agreement. It makes sense to do that.
And so my wife asked, do those loans have to meet FHA requirements?
There is a conventional loan that does it also. So you can have the HICM, which is the FHA, or you can do the conventional. It's a little bit different, but the same idea.
See, I had to fix my video feed on the fly. I don't know what happened there. Oh yeah, I am not at the same level as the news. I'm trying to get there, but it's not that easy. And then her next question is, she manages a 55 plus condo where no one can get a reverse mortgage because they are not FHA approved. So that's another consideration there, isn't it?
It is a consideration, but there's the conventional way that they can go. Yes.
And I know those reverse mortgages are just, they are their own beastie. And I try to go, I know about them. Talk to a lender who actually knows about them, which in this case is you. So,
Well, actually, I want to tell you that in all full disclosure, we have a department that does nothing but that. We have a dedicated loan officer who handles nothing but those. They know it backwards and forwards.
so what you're telling me is you got a
I know
guy.
enough to recommend that you talk to these people who know all about it and everything. And so I'm not going to play like I do, because I don't, But I did get an explanation on this, and they said, think of it like it's a home equity loan.
Yeah.
Just think of it that way. Yeah, and you're taking equity out of your property. So that makes sense to me. I mean, just making it as simple as possible.
and that's a hard part about our jobs, is trying to make it simple enough for the average person to digest. Like we have got some pretty severe industry lingo, and I'm not saying that I'm dumbing it down. I'm just trying to present it in a way that somebody could understand.
Exactly.
And like when you were talking about the loan product earlier, that's based on the property's income, that's a DSCR loan. We'll throw back and forth the term DSCR loan all day long, but it's a debt service coverage ratio loan.
Yeah,
and
right.
like this is our shorthand. I would never expect a normal person to get that.
Exactly.
Right. It is such a headache. So
But one of the things that I'm kind of excited about is the program that we have, because of the affordability issue that's going on with our properties. Sometimes first-time homebuyers need to buy a property that is a little lower, price level, and those properties require fix-up because they're not meeting the municipality minimum standards. So we have renovation loans that we can do.
yes, I love those.
And it used to be that the standard on those, the 203K, it's an FHA, was $35,000. They could just give you $35,000. You could do whatever you want. We didn't have to okay the contractor. We did not have to have the, all of, even if it's not structural, $35,000, and you can use it to do all of your cosmetic updates and everything's cool. Well, they recently changed that to $75,000, which is
that's nice.
Big. And the thing is, if it's structural, yes, we have to have all of the approvals, the architectural drawings, and all of that, and also the set up the payments that are paid, to the contractors, upon their completion of certain parts of the renovation. But if it's not structural, it's just cosmetic stuff, and cosmetic stuff can be expensive. Then, you would be fine if you're using that $75,000, and however you want to use it, they give it to you and go for it.
Yeah. And like that's important information for people to know, because most people think you got to buy the house and pay out of pocket to be able to do these things. And that's not necessarily what the case is. They can be rolled into your loan amount up to, whatever the correct level is. And that opens up a lot of possibilities that people don't realize exists. And let's see. Wait, I've got a meme for this someplace. Come on, where is she? Where is she? Oh, fine. I'll have to go over here. There we go. Real estate memes. All right, I'm almost there.
Almost there?
I'm almost there. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. Like, I've got so much good stuff, and I'm like, but how do I find this? It is such a headache. Where's Beetlejuice? Here we go. Can you hear that, Shirley?
little gasoline?
I
Little
cannot.
torch? No problem.
She said a little gasoline, a match, no problem. So,
We'll straighten this out real quick.
yeah, we will. Yeah, I loved that. Like when she was going through the house there in Beetlejuice, I thought it was the funniest thing ever, which is why I kept the clips in here. And I just thought it was so hysterical.
That's
and my
fun.
favorite one, because we see this a lot, especially in Pasco. We do see some in Pinellas, but it's where they put the bathroom, like there's a second bathroom, but it's in the garage. And I always use her clip that, oh, hey, look, an indoor outhouse.
No.
Yes. Like, don't you dare count that as a bathroom.
Wow. Okay.
You know, because I get it. When it's an emergency, going in the garage, not so bad, but nobody's going to be hanging out in there.
That is awful. That is awful.
It's so true, though. So anyhow, on that note, let's see. Oh yeah, you know what? We've got a whole nother thing here, whole nother slide section. If I can get back over there and pop up the browser again. Mm-hmm. See, I'm starting to get the flow. This is good.
Okay.
You were saying that the housing payments have dropped to their lowest level since January, but home sales are still falling. Mm-hmm. So that's your info that you brought up. So hey, let's roll through this. Let me see if I can zoom this in so everybody else can actually read this. There you go. Declining mortgage rates are pushing the median U.S. housing payment down to $2,500, roughly $300 below April's record high. So that's a big savings, $300.
That's big.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching, the median price, that also includes like the worst areas of Detroit and the highest end in New York City. It's, you know, we just kind of throw those out and here's the happy middle ground. But that's still like, that's $2,500. That's a lot better than $3,000.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Then when we're looking at the payment that you're going to be making on your house, one of the things that people don't look at is taxes, and they don't look at hazard insurance.
Yes. And you know, that was one thing that we've seen a continual problem with. The tax assessor's office has gotten a little bit better, making it a bit more accessible on their website. But what so many people don't realize that when you see on the MLS, this is what the taxes are. That's the taxes based on the purchase price and a homestead exemption that somebody's had for 15 years ago. Yeah, their taxes are only $1,000 a year. But you know, when it sells, yeah, what they're going to be, that's a lot of sticker shock for people. So again, that's partially my job, is to go through and say, look, here's, you know, what this is going to be. If you buy it at this price, this is what price point you're looking at, and you have to be able to factor in those taxes.
So when you're talking to veterans, though, who are disabled,
yes,
you bring up this thing that, hey, if you're 100% disabled, you may not have to pay any taxes.
Yes.
So your payment will be really low, you know, compared to other people.
And for those of you who are watching who are about to freak out over that because you are a disabled vet, understand that when you buy a property, like if you bought it right now, it's September, you can't file your homestead exemption until April of next year before it takes effect.
Well,
January-ish, but you know,
April,
yeah, I mean, the cutoff's April, so you've got between January and April to file that exemption, and then it'll have to go through the process, and then if you qualify, you won't pay any taxes from that point forward on your homestead. But you still have to pay between here and there. So, you know, well,
yes, you do.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to worry about that.
And then you get that big, you know, the servicer will reassess your payment, and it comes down because of your situation. So that's very good for veterans who are 100% disabled. We really need to do that for them because they have sacrificed a lot.
That is such a huge thing, and to me, that is such a huge thing and a huge benefit. You know, to have that 100% disability, to be able to say, no, I don't owe the tax man anything. That's just tremendous.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
But going back to the hazard insurance, people don't understand that they need to shop.
Oh God, that is such a huge thing. It's like your car insurance. Everybody just assumes I'll make one phone call, it'll be fine. It might,
Nope.
but probably not.
Oh.
So,
and it's really funny how some people will do it based on I'm trying to think of the word, the cost to rebuild.
yeah.
Completely. The 100% cost to rebuild that property is what they base that premium on. And do you have to have that? Probably not.
No.
So you want to find out, you want to ask questions, you really want to become really
well versed. Yes. And that's part of the hard part in this industry, because you are dealing with so many high level, very expensive, very niche products. I don't know insurance nearly well enough to do anything other than say, here's the insurance agents that I talk to that I know what they're talking about. With everything else, it's like, but I like drawing analogies. Do you need full coverage with gap insurance on your 2016 Hyundai? I don't know, maybe, but probably not. And you need to have that conversation with your home insurance agent too. Do we need full rebuild value? Exactly.
Do we need 100%? And then if we do have 125% of the value, that's great. But I think what it needs to be done is you sit down with your insurance agent, and you have them explain in detail what this entails and what's going to happen if I have a loss, so that you understand what you want to cover. Because some things that are valuable to some people is not valuable to other people.
Yeah, totally. And
it's important to do that.
Yeah, and it's good to have those in-depth conversations, but most of all, I just want people to know you need to have an in-depth conversation about your insurance. And I know they're not going to be able to give you an extremely accurate quote until you have a property address to tie it to. Right. But in the meantime, like, yeah. It's all good. Hey, we're dog lovers. But it's such a huge thing to say, add this to your list of people you need to talk to up front. You need your awesome real estate agent. You need an awesome lender. You need an awesome insurance agent. This is your team who makes this happen.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Okay, I'll keep talking for a minute. We're having a good time here, aren't we? Hopefully y'all are enjoying this episode so far. Let's pop over to station identification here real quick. You're listening to KIDD Radio, the best of real estate in the Sunshine State. There we go. I love it. Let's see if I can mute her for a second. Oh, that dog is not happy. Aw. Let me bring that back up.
Noise, you would think he's this huge 100-pound dog.
We love dogs.
14 pounds.
Can you bring him back up so we can see him again?
Scooter. Come. There you go. Hey.
Aw, we love the doggos. Aw. You're cuddly too.
Now, this is a Chihuahua, so he's full grown. He's actually 3 years old almost. He's a teenager.
And you got another one behind you, right?
That's Bella. She's the Basset Hound.
Basset Hound, right on. Oh, you've got a sweet Chihuahua. Chihuahuas come in just one of two flavors. Either they're sweet and like that one's cuddly and kissy, or they're going to kill you. There is no in between.
Really?
Yes.
He's like 10 years old.
Oh, the joys of a live video, man. This is great. I'm loving
she
this.
moves the house.
Oh, well, of course she does. Oh, that was awesome. Well, we will take pup breaks, that's for sure.
Well, speaking of animals and pets, that's one of the things you need to look and make sure that when you're buying your house, they're going
Yes.
to allow you to have those pets.
Yes,
That would be
it's
horrible if you bought the house and found out that you couldn't have a pet because it was maybe weighed over a certain amount of pounds and all of that. So be careful, take your time and find out what's going on.
or prohibited breed. That's something you want to check with each municipality for.
Yes.
And then if you're buying into a managed community, condo, HOA, townhome, villa, whatever, you need to really look at their rules and also realize that those can change as time goes on. So you know that's a problem.
Might want to get on the board.
Yes. And I'm telling you right now, like, if my dog, I love her dearly. If anything, like, if I somehow manage to lose my house, that dog is sitting with me under a bridge and I will fight anybody for her. Like, you know, I don't care if you tell me, oh yeah, look here, you can have this mansion for nothing, but your dog can't come. I'm staying under a bridge. I don't care.
That's it. That's it.
Oh,
we love our pets. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's the
and
be
then
all end all.
also you got to look at your hazard insurance and let them know you have the dogs and what they are, what the breed is, because that also makes a difference in the price. And then you'll have what we call, you'll have a shock when your payment is higher than what you think it should be because insurance went up because you have a Doberman.
Yes. My wife said yes. It like, because she manages the condos at HOA. She said yes, get on the board. She is always hoping for good board members to step up and do the thing. And look, I'll be the first one to tell you that serving on an association board, there is a learning curve. It is all the difference in the world between having a great community and a not great community. We often joke about, and that there's a lot of truth in the joking, that some of these communities do have people that should be medicated and put into a nice little rubber room. And it's justified. I mean, there are some real pieces of work out there. But you know, if you're good and you want to keep your community good, get on the board. Have a say. Be somebody like boards.
Know who you're voting in as president.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Like I've seen both sides of that too. I've seen really awesome boards, and I've seen some that were just complete nightmares. And you know, I like to use round numbers for examples, but you know, if you're in a community of 100 homes, then you've got 5 board members, and you've got 2 crazy people out there in the community. You know, but you're in business with 99 other homeowners, 5 of whom are running the business and 2 of whom are doing everything they can to make your life miserable. It's better to be the captain of the ship in that case.
Yes.
You know, it's here's I got to go back over here. My wife says that boards now have more education requirements, which I think was it was very overdue. So in theory, it should help the learning curve, which is great. Like, the onboarding process is a little difficult. I remember when I got my management license and they were like, you know, this is how you run it. Nobody taught me how you run a meeting. Nobody said, here's Robert's rules, you know, you make a motion. Yeah. I was like, fine, cool, whatever. What do y'all want me to do? But no, I mean, it was an experience, let me tell you. But it's big to know what you're getting yourself into way ahead of time. And you know, it's community living is not for everybody. But my big thing is, if you're going to get into that situation, do it with the full understanding of what you're getting into. I'm not saying you have to have done it before, but realize this is what you're getting into, and you need to learn more about this. Get some more education.
You have to understand that when you're buying a property, it is the largest investment that you'll probably ever make in your whole life.
It totally is. My wife says, use your dad voice. Yes, I need to use my dad voice when it comes to those things.
Yes.
You need to do this. But yes, totally, like, get educated. If they're having a class out there, and actually my wife will be the one to answer this one. If they are having classes, can any community member, any resident in the community, go take the board class in case they want to serve on the board, and thereby educate yourself that much more. So we'll see what she pops up with on that one. She'll be back in a minute. I just love that she said use your
before
dad
you
voice.
end this, I want to make sure that people know how to get in touch with me in case
Most definitely.
they need a mortgage.
See, she said, yep, if you're a resident in a community, you can go take the board class, so you're more educated, and if you want to step up to that role, you totally can. So that's brilliant. And
That is.
yeah. So are you going to pop your info up on the screen, or you want me to do this manually?
Do it manually.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do it manually. It might take me a second.
Oh.
So
I tell you what, I'll just give them my telephone number, and then they can get all of my contact information. I'll send them my digital business card.
oh, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I
give me
don't mind
one.
giving my number out.
Yeah, you give your number out, and I'm going to see if I can pop all this stuff up on the screen here in just a second. But go for it now.
Okay. So my number is 727-644-8254. And I'm with U.S. Mortgage Corporation. They're out of New York, and they have satellite offices in Florida. I happen to be connected to the one in Tulsa. I actually am an Oklahoma native. Born and raised there. So they have satellite offices all over. Everyone to know that my background is also that coming back into being a mortgage loan originator. Before that, as up until 2022, I was a mortgage loan underwriter. So having that background, and also I've underwrote FHA loans, VA loans for a builder. So I do have a lot of experience, and I bring that to the table, and just want you to know that I don't know everything, but I know where to find the answers.
Which is huge, because for those of you who are watching this and may not be familiar with the mortgage process, the underwriter is the person who actually goes, yes, this loan looks good. It's cleared all the terms and conditions. It's been like, if there is a meat grinder for a loan product, it's the underwriter. So Shirley knows what she's talking about because she's done that job. So when she looks at your loan package and goes, it's good, chances are it's probably really rock solid, and that is huge. Let me go over here real quick. Yeah, we can keep talking. Because my wife brought up a good point. She's like, yeah, you got Shirley's info up on your website too. Like, really? I'm trying here. I'm trying.
Yeah, the other thing I want to say is that I am really grateful and thankful to you for allowing me to come today and share this podcast with you.
Oh yeah, I've had a blast. I've been wanting to do this forever, and it took me forever to get it together to be able to do it, and it just drives me nuts that I haven't been able to yet. But thank you for coming on and being, the soft open, the first victim, if you will. So if y'all go over to my website at zachkidd.com, that's ZACHKIDD.com. Shirley has her own web page on my website. You go underneath the lenders and just find this beautiful woman's picture, and there you go. Click on it and you'll get to her. And it has all of her contact information. You can text her, email her, whatever you need to do. You can find out more about U.S. Mortgage Corporation as well. But yeah, like, I don't know about you, but I don't know if it's despite or because of all of the trouble we've had. I think this has been a blast. So,
Okay.
thank you so much for joining me today. And
let me know the next victim that you get.
Okay, yeah, you're watching me like, oh Lord, here he goes again. So, okay.
All right. Well, you have a great evening. I'm going to go and rescue my neighbors from my dogs barking.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Shirley. I really appreciate it.
All right.
There was something thrilling about being in the show tonight.
Yep, not having to watch it.